At 3:12 p.m., my sister stood under an arch of white roses, staring into her fiancé's eyes like he hung the sun. At 3:12 p.m., I was in my kitchen, barefoot, exhausted, cutting strawberries into tiny hearts for my 7-year-old, because my daughter's heart was failing, and I was trying to keep life normal long enough for surgery. Then my phone started buzzing so hard it slid across the counter. First call, my mom. Second call, my dad. Third call, an unknown number. And when I finally picked up, I didn't hear wedding music. I heard screaming. Men shouting commands, chairs scraping. A woman crying like her body couldn't hold it all. My mother's voice ripped through the noise, high and broken. "You did this! What did you do?" I looked across the room at my daughter at the table, coloring carefully, tongue tucked between her teeth in concentration, completely unaware of anything outside her crayons, and I answered as calmly as if she'd asked me what was for dinner.
"I told the truth, that's all."
My name is Nora. I work in healthcare, the kind of job where you learn to keep your voice steady while everything around you gets loud and urgent. Long shifts, early mornings, too much coffee, not enough sleep. You get good at controlling your face, controlling your hands, controlling your breathing, because patients and families read you like a monitor. But nothing in that job prepares you for watching your own child ration her laughter. My daughter, Lily, was 7. Too small for her age, all elbows and bright eyes and stubbornness. Her laugh came out strong for 3 seconds and then turned into a cough if she ran too hard. Some days she could climb the stairs like it was nothing, and some days she'd stop halfway and hold the railing like it might keep her upright. In our house, time didn't move in months or seasons. It moved in cardiology appointments, in medication refills, in we need to adjust the dose, in we should keep an eye on that, in numbers that mattered more than birthdays, oxygen saturation, blood pressure, heart rate. And in one date, I circled on the calendar so many times the paper started to tear. The surgery date. Every morning, Lily would shuffle into the kitchen with her hair in every direction and her pajama top inside out and ask the question that set the mood for the whole day. "Mom, is today a good heart day?" And I would put on the softest, steadiest smile I could find and say, "Yeah, baby, today's a good heart day." Some days it was true. Some days it was a lie I told so she could eat her cereal without fear. I started saving when Lily was 2. Quietly, obsessively. A separate account. Every extra shift went in. Every bonus. Every tax return. Any birthday money relatives sent went straight into it. I skipped vacations. I bought used furniture. I kept my old phone until the screen cracked so badly I could barely read texts. When coworkers invited me out, I always had an excuse. When someone asked why I never treated myself, I told the truth. I'm saving for my daughter's surgery. People usually did that uncomfortable thing where their faces softened and their eyes got sad and they said, "Oh my God," like that was the end of the conversation. But to me, it wasn't sadness. It was a plan. It was survival. It was Lily's future. By the time she turned 7, that account had grown to a little over $130,000. Not a fortune, not enough to make me feel safe in a world where one medical surprise can ruin you, but enough that I could finally breathe a little. Enough to cover what insurance wouldn't. Enough for travel, recovery, and all the just-in-case expenses nobody warns you about until you're already drowning. That money wasn't money. It was time. It was oxygen. It was my child's chance to grow up. My parents lived across town. On the outside, we looked like a normal family. Holiday dinners, group photos, forced smiles. My mother, Evelyn, liked control disguised as concern. She'd ask questions that sounded sweet but were really inspections. "Did Lily take her medicine? Are you sure you're managing this right? You know, if you just listen to me." My father, Graham, stayed quiet. He was a peacekeeper, the kind of man who smoothed things over until nothing sharp was left. Except the truth. If my mother said something cruel, he'd laugh lightly and change the subject, as if cruelty was just awkwardness. And my younger sister, Tessa Tessa had a way of floating through life like gravity didn't apply to her. She didn't plan. She didn't worry. She didn't brace for impact. Things worked out for her because someone else always absorbed the fall. When she got engaged to Rowan, everyone acted like it was a fairy tale. Rowan was polished in that way that makes people trust you without checking your hands. Perfect teeth, perfect handshake, perfect jokes. He worked in logistics and consulting, which meant nothing, but he always seemed to have money. Tessa's ring looked like it came with its own security team. Wedding planning took over the family like a new religion. They talked venues, flowers, photographers, signature cocktails, live music, custom invitations. The kind of wedding where the table settings look like museum pieces and the flowers probably cost more than my car. I didn't care about the wedding. I didn't envy it. I cared about my daughter's heart. 6 weeks before Lily's surgery, the hospital called and moved the date earlier. Not because it was convenient, because it was necessary. The doctor said it in that careful, professional tone that means he's trying not to scare you, but he won't lie. "We shouldn't wait," he said. After I hung up, I sat on my couch staring at the wall, feeling relief and terror crash together in my chest. Soon meant hope. Soon also meant less room for error. That weekend, my mother came over with groceries I didn't ask for, moving through my kitchen like she owned it. She watched Lily at the table coloring and then lowered her voice like she was about to share something intimate. "Nora," she said, "you should put me on the surgery account." I blinked. "Why would I do that?" "In case something happens to you," she said smoothly. "You work so much. You're always driving tired. God forbid you get in an accident. Someone needs access. I'm her grandmother." It sounded reasonable. That's what made it dangerous. I hesitated with my phone in my hand. My thumb hovered over the banking app like my body knew something my mind didn't want to admit. My mother leaned in with that soft, concerned face she used like a tool. "I would never let anything happen to Lily," she said. "I'm doing this for you." Behind her, Lily hummed to herself and colored a rainbow with the kind of trust children have when they still believe the world is designed to keep them safe. And I did what people do when they want peace more than they want truth. I convinced myself blood meant protection. I added my mother as an authorized user, not a full joint owner, not on paper, just access for emergencies, because I told myself I was being responsible. 2 days later, Tessa texted me a photo of her venue. Crystal chandeliers, white roses, a staircase that looked like it belonged in a palace. I stared at the photo too long. Something inside my chest tightened, like an instinct trying to speak through muscle. I ignored it. The money disappeared on a Tuesday morning. No dramatic alert, no fraud warning, no siren in my phone. Just a number that didn't make sense. 0. I refreshed the screen, closed it, opened it again. 0. I stared until my vision blurred, my brain refusing to accept it the way your brain refuses to accept a car crash you haven't fully processed yet. I called the bank from my car before my shift, gripping the steering wheel so hard my hands hurt. After a few minutes on hold, a calm voice confirmed it. "Yes, ma'am. The withdrawal was authorized by a user on the account." I swallowed. Which user? Keys clicked. A pause that felt too long. Evelyn Harper. My mother. I didn't scream. Not because I wasn't furious. Because something in me went cold. The kind of cold that happens when your mind stops hoping and starts calculating. I drove straight to my parents' house, parked crooked, and walked up the familiar porch steps like I was walking into a courtroom. My mother opened the door with a smile like I was there for coffee. "What's wrong, honey?" I said. "Where is Lily's money?" She didn't even pretend to be confused. "Oh," she sighed, waving a hand like I'd asked about the weather. That, I repeated, because if I said the full sentence, if I said, "the money for my child's heart surgery," I wasn't sure I could keep my voice steady. "We needed it," she said. "We?" I asked. She tilted her head, smiling like I was slow. "Your sister," she replied. "Weddings are expensive. Deposits, vendors, all of it. And you had it just sitting there. I stared at her, waiting for the punchline that never came. I reminded her about the surgery date, the hospital, the doctor moving it up, the fact that Lily got winded walking upstairs. My mother shrugged. "She'll be fine," she said, as casually as if she were talking about a scraped knee. "Kids are resilient." Then she added, voice sharpening under the sugar, "This wedding only happens once, Nora. Stop making everything so dark." So dark. As if my daughter's condition was a bad mood I should keep to myself. And then she smiled, bright and pleased with herself, and said the sentence that cracked something inside me so quietly I didn't even feel it at first. "Anyway, thank you. You saved your sister's wedding." I stood there, and for a moment I couldn't hear anything except the blood in my ears. Then I asked the question I already knew the answer to. "Am I invited?" My mother's smile thinned. "It's a small guest list," she said. "And honestly, Nora, you always bring things down with medical talk." Medical talk. That's what she called my child's heart condition. I walked out without another word, sat in my car for almost half an hour, staring at my hands on the steering wheel. I didn't go inside to sob into her couch or beg for compassion she didn't have. I drove home and made Lily lunch like it was any other day. That night I noticed Tessa had blocked me on everything. No message, no explanation, just silence. Like I'd already been written out of the story. 2 days later, Lily struggled to catch her breath walking up the stairs. She tried to play it off, like kids do when they don't want to scare you, like she was embarrassed by her own body. "I'm okay," she whispered, but her voice was thin. I carried her the rest of the way, tucked her into bed, and sat beside her listening to her breathing until it evened out. In the dark, with the calendar on the wall screaming at me in red circles, it became clear. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't carelessness. This was a choice. My parents chose a wedding over a child. My sister accepted it. And I finally understood something I'd avoided my whole life. If I wanted to protect my daughter, I could not rely on family. I needed to rely on the truth. The next morning, I sat in my car outside work and forced myself to think like I would think during an emergency. Logically, not emotionally. The withdrawal had been authorized. That meant yelling wouldn't fix it. Begging wouldn't bring it back. Crying wouldn't move the surgery date. I needed options that didn't depend on my mother growing a conscience overnight. That's when I thought of Rowan. He always made my skin itch. Too polished. Too eager to talk numbers. Too quick to brag about connections. I remembered a Thanksgiving dinner years ago when he'd mentioned overseas delays and accounts being complicated and money moving through different channels. At the time, I'd tuned it out. Now it felt like a thread. And when you've spent years in healthcare, you learn something that applies to everything. When a thread looks wrong, you pull it carefully. You document. You verify. You don't guess. I reached out to someone I barely knew. Cal, a former associate of Rowan's. I had his number from an old group text. I expected silence. Instead, he replied fast. "Can you meet somewhere public?" We met in a cafe downtown where the music was too loud and the tables were too close. Cal looked tired in a way sleep couldn't fix. Dark circles, restless hands, a jaw clenched like he'd been carrying words he didn't want to say. He didn't do small talk. "I heard what your family did," he said quietly. "About your kid's surgery money." My throat tightened. I nodded once. Cal swallowed. "I can't keep pretending anymore," he said. "Not after that. Not after knowing what kind of people they are." Then he slid a thick envelope across the table. No labels, just paper, printouts, invoices, payment records, company names that didn't match, amounts that repeated in patterns, dates that overlapped like someone didn't care if the lies lined up as long as the money moved. "I'm not asking you to do anything illegal," Cal said, voice low. "I'm just done. I don't want to be part of it anymore." I didn't promise him anything dramatic. I took the envelope home, waited until Lily was asleep, and I spread everything out on my kitchen table like it was a puzzle that decided whether my child would live. I didn't rush. I didn't panic. I read every line. What I didn't understand, I researched. What looked wrong, I flagged. I compared addresses, looked up business registrations, checked dates against public filings, traced the same mailbox address showing up again and again like a ghost. This wasn't messy paperwork. It was designed. By sunrise, my hands were stained with highlighter and my stomach felt hollow. I knew two things, clearly, like diagnoses. First, my sister's wedding wasn't being paid for with love and generosity. Second, the truth didn't belong to me anymore, so I did the most boring, powerful thing a person can do when they have facts. I reported it properly, not a rant, not a threat, not revenge dressed up as justice, just documentation, just dates, names, numbers, patterns. I told them exactly what I had, how I got it, and what I could verify. They listened, asked careful questions, took copies, thanked me in a professional voice that didn't give me any promises. When they left, my house was quiet again. Lily stirred upstairs calling my name. I went to her and lifted her into my arms, feeling how light she was, and I pressed my cheek against her hair and made myself a promise. Whatever happens next, I will not look away. The morning of the wedding arrived quietly. No alarms, no sirens, no dramatic thunder, just sunlight slipping through blinds and the soft sound of my daughter breathing in the next room. I lay still for a moment, staring at the ceiling, listening to the house wake up around us. Today was supposed to be a celebration. White dresses, champagne flutes, smiling faces stretched wide for photographs. I stayed home. Lily padded into the kitchen in her socks, dragging her blanket behind her. I made pancakes the way she liked them, uneven, with chocolate chips pressed into the batter like little constellations. She ate and talked about a dream. In my dream, she said, my heart was a tiny drummer, and it finally learned the right beat. I smiled and listened like my chest wasn't tight. My phone buzzed all morning, face down on the counter. I didn't answer. By noon, the buzzing stopped. That's when I knew the ceremony had started. Across the city, guests were taking their seats. Programs were being passed out. Music was swelling. My mother was probably supervising perfection like it was her job. My sister was probably glowing, convinced she was stepping into the happiest day of her life. I folded laundry, helped Lily with a puzzle, put on a cartoon neither of us watched. I kept glancing at the clock, not with anxiety, but with a strange calm. Everything that could be done had already been done. At 3:12, my phone started ringing. One call after another. Mom again. Tessa, Dad, unknown. I let it go to voicemail. At 3:18, the house phone rang, loud and insistent, like the past demanding my attention. I picked up. My mother screamed before I could say hello. "What did you do? What did you do?" In the background, I heard shouting, chairs scraping, someone crying so loudly it cut through everything. I leaned against the counter, steadying myself. "I'm at home," I said calmly. "What are you talking about?" "They stopped it," she sobbed. "They walked in, right in the middle. Everyone saw. Cameras. Tessa was at the altar." Her words tumbled over each other, panicked and broken. "They put handcuffs on Rowan," she whispered, like saying it softly might reverse it. My chest didn't fill with triumph. It filled with a clean, quiet emptiness. I asked, "Who stopped it?" She didn't answer. She didn't need to. Another call came through on my cell. "Tessa." I declined it. Then my dad called. I answered. "Nora," he said, voice shaking. "Please tell me you didn't have anything to do with this." "I told the truth," I said. "That's all." Silence. Then my father exhaled like something in him collapsed. "They're freezing accounts," he said. "The wedding planner just left. Vendors are yelling. Guests are confused. Your mother is—" He stopped, as if he didn't have a word big enough. "This is a nightmare," he finally said. I pictured the ballroom. Flowers, candles, untouched cake, all that money spent to create an illusion. I imagined whispers turning into speculation, speculation into certainty, certainty into a story nobody could control anymore. My father's voice went sharp, desperate. "You ruined your sister's wedding." "No," I said. "Your choices did that. Mine just made them visible." My mother grabbed the phone back, sobbing hard. "After everything we've done for you, after we raised you, you do this to us? To your own family?" I thought about Lily on the stairs fighting for breath, the calendar on my wall, the zero on my banking app, my mother's smile when she thanked me for funding a wedding. "You stole money meant to keep your granddaughter alive," I said. "And you laughed about it." "We were going to pay you back," she cried. "We were going to—" "With what?" I asked quietly. Her sobbing changed, cracked into something raw. "They're seizing everything," she whispered. "They said it's serious." "They said it's been going on for years." "Yes," I said. "That's what happens when the truth catches up." Then I heard my sister in the background, sharp and furious. "Give me the phone!" There was shuffling. Her breathing was fast, like she'd been running. "I hope you're happy," Tessa hissed. "You humiliated me in front of everyone. You destroyed my life." I didn't raise my voice. "You accepted money that wasn't yours," I said. "Money meant for Lily's surgery. You blocked me. You erased us. You weren't even going to invite your niece." Tessa let out a hollow laugh. "You're always so dramatic. It was just money." Something cold settled in my chest. "It was my daughter's heart," I said, "and you spent it on flowers." She didn't answer. In the background, a man's voice announced that everyone needed to leave the venue. I heard heels clicking fast, someone yelling, a door slamming. My mother started wailing again, like she could cry loud enough to bend reality. "How could you be so cruel?" she sobbed. I looked over at Lily, still coloring, brow furrowed in concentration, peaceful because she didn't know the word cruelty yet the way adults do. "Cruel," I repeated softly. "Cruel is stealing from a sick child and calling it help." I ended the call. The house went quiet again. Too quiet. I stood in my kitchen for a moment, letting the silence wash over me, waiting for guilt to arrive. It didn't. What I felt wasn't joy. It was an ending. Later that day, a message came from an unknown number. Just 4 words. "It's done. They've got enough." I deleted it without replying. That evening, my dad called again. This time, he didn't yell. "They're saying he could be charged with multiple counts," he said, voice low and tired. "It could mean years." "I know," I said. He hesitated. "Your mother. She keeps saying she never thought it would go this far." I stared out the window as the sun dipped behind the houses. "It already had," I said. "You just weren't looking." He was quiet for a long time. "What happens now?" he asked finally. I knew what he meant. For him, for my mother, for my sister, for the family story they'd built and decorated and defended like it was sacred. But I also knew what mattered. "For me," I said, "I take care of my daughter." And I hung up. The days after the wedding felt strangely calm, like the air after a storm finally moves again. No more screaming calls, no more demands, just updates coming through other people, softened and filtered. Rowan's business was under review, accounts were frozen, vendors wanted payment, the venue wanted answers, the wedding photos were never sent out, the story everyone whispered about wasn't romance anymore, it was consequences. My mother didn't call. My father called once and apologized without really saying the words. I didn't argue, I didn't comfort him. I didn't chase closure that wouldn't change anything. Because Lily's surgery date moved up again. Sooner. More urgent. The number terrified me at first. Then something unexpected happened. People showed up. Not my family, my community. A coworker shared a fundraiser link in a group chat I didn't even know existed. Friends I hadn't spoken to in years sent messages. Strangers donated small amounts with notes that said things like, "For Lily," and "You're doing the right thing," and "I'm sorry the people closest to you failed." Within a week, we were close enough that I could breathe again. The night before surgery, Lily looked up at me from her hospital bed, eyes huge in her pale little face. "Mom," she whispered, "is everything going to be okay?" I took her hand and pressed it against my cheek, and for the first time in a long time, the words didn't feel like a performance. "Yes," I said. "It is." I didn't win anything. I lost the illusion that blood automatically means love. I lost the fantasy that if I kept being patient, my family would suddenly become safe. But I kept what mattered: my daughter, her future, my peace. Protecting your child isn't betrayal, it's courage, and sometimes the hardest boundaries are the ones that save a life.